And a pleasant good day to you, and welcome inside historic Bossy Field. Finally ready to play baseball here between Evansville and Windy City. Thank you for joining us here on the Otters Digital Network. I'm Matthew Will, join you for another edition of Otters Baseball. We're supposed to play this one last night, but due to some rain that just popped up out of nowhere, went on for 2 or 3 hours. The field conditions were unplayable, and that game was actually moved to tomorrow. So the series opener will take place here on a Senior Connection Day game. We'll get more into the lineups, of course, following the national anthem, as we are starting a little later than usual. Just a heads up, if you were hoping to listen on here and or watch on Flow Sports due to some unforeseen technical difficulties. As for right now, it's just the Otters Digital Network bringing you the game today. We'll have Flow Sports up and running just as soon as we can. Windy City is a team who comes into this game, much like the Otters, just a half game out, or a full game out of the lead in the West Division. It's Evansville who's a half game out. This series, I mean, of course, like many of the other ones, means so much going down the line of the divisional play. But a couple of losses last night near the top really helped the Otters and Thunderbolts out. Washington now still sits atop the league, but only a half game up on Schaumburg and Evansville. Windy City and Gateway follow at a game back. 2.5 games back is Joliet. 3 games back is Lake Erie. 5.5 is Florence. This is seeming to be a pretty tight West Division all season long. And, of course, these 3 games right here will mean quite a bit to it. We'll have first pitch between the Thunderbolts and Otters coming at you next here on the Otters Digital Network. Beautiful rendition of the national anthem has us ready to go here from bright, sunny, humid Evansville as we are ready for game 1 between the Windy City Thunderbolts and the Evansville Otters. Again, we welcome you into the Otters Digital Network. Pleased you're joining us here for Wednesday afternoon baseball on a Senior Connection Wednesday. Good crowd starting to fill in here to Bossy Field. Reminder, if you're happening to listen today and came to last night's game, due to the suspension of that, you can use that ticket to any future Otters game this year. Just take it by the box office, your ticket from last night, and you can redeem it for any future Otters game from here on out. Quick look at the man on the mound who's going to be starting things off for the Otters today. It's going to be Parker Brahms, and Brahms is an interesting case here. A guy who did a lot of time in the bullpen last year throughout his time in beginning the professional baseball world has now moved himself into a starter and has done a really good job at it while he's doing it. 2-1 to start the year, a 1.89 ERA in his 3 games pitched. Looking at 14 strikeouts, just 8 walks, and 19 innings of work. You know, he's not only been effective on the mound, but he's also been impressive when it comes to some of those statistical categories, with the fact that there aren't a lot of guys in the league who are doing a couple of these cases better than he is. A couple extra little pieces on Parker Brahms. He has a 141 batting average against, a whip that is just underneath 1.0, averaging just under 7 strikeouts a game as well. But you can't let that really blind you. He's had 2 separate outings this year where he's given up just 1 run on 2 hits. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch up on the mound this afternoon. The guys that Brahms will be throwing towards, they're for Windy City. They'll start off with center fielder Jarius Richards, designated hitter Dan Robinson, and left fielder Daryl Myers. Keep an eye on Daryl Myers. He's going to be the guy to watch in this series. Very talented bat right there in the middle of this Windy City lineup. Brahms gets set up on the mound. We're ready for first pitch on a Wednesday afternoon. On the way to Richards. And that one will sneak into the zone for a called strike 1. Brahms kind of because he's a guy who developed from the bullpen, pitching out of the stretch a lot of the time, as you see him right there. 0-2 the count early, both of them called strikes towards Jarius Richards, who comes into the game batting 154 on the season. The 0-2 from Brahms. This one's belted out towards right field. Diving catch from Mcnamee, and I tell you what, he has just added to what has been an exceptional week of right field play. It's really gotten to the point where you can rely on him to make the big play, and I tell you that does a lot for the guys around him out there in the outfield. Quickly 1 up, 1 down here for Parker Brahms and the Evansville Otters. That'll bring up the designated hitter Dan Robinson. And Robinson's entering the game batting .283 on the season. Few extra base hits. He has 3 triples this year. He's one of 2 different guys on this ThunderBolts team that has 3 triples. First pitch stays a bit outside. A little bit of a break here before the 1-0. Brahms sends it home, and this one stays high and outside, but it's fouled back into the netting, evening the count at a ball and a strike. Now, Brahms is pretty consistent up there on the mound when it comes to his stretch. We see a couple different strange windups by some of the guys on this Otters team, but he's fairly consistent with his stretch up there. A 1-1. This one's fouled back into the Felix. Does dribble away, however. With that, let's take a look at the Otters' defensive alignment. Out in the outfield, it's Jeffrey Baez, Miles Gordon, and Elijah Mcnamee working left to right. And in the infield, J.R. Davis at third, Andy Armstrong at short, Gary Mattis at second, Dakota Phillips over there at first. And like I mentioned, Justin Felix is behind the plate. The 1-2 to Robinson. And a check swing chops the ball foul back towards the netting. So Robinson will live to see another pitch. Otters are wearing their home white pants with the blue tops, white script lettering on the front, white numbers on the back. Windy City in their road grays with blue script lettering on the front, blue letters on back. The 1-2 towards Robinson. That one just misses inside a bit. Pitch that slowed way down towards the mid-70s. One of the big pieces of the Otters pitching was making sure that they could make the most of counts that they were 0-2 or 1-2 in. Missing the strike zone high and outside now is Brahms. Pitch that just about hit 90 there. The 3-2 towards Robinson. This one's lifted up high and foul to the left side. Davis running over there, and he's going to let it go, and it ends up hitting off the roof of the Bossy Field seating area over there. You know, Parker Brahms is a guy who, if you're a fan of fast baseball, might not be your best friend up there. Really slow and methodic working on the mound. Takes his time between pitches, but a lot of the time he's a guy who's going to give you better control and a little less velocity. 3-2 to Robinson. That one just misses on the inside edge, and it's a 1-out walk for Robinson and the Thunderbolts. And that'll bring up Daryl Myers, who is, like I mentioned, the guy you got to keep an eye on. Enters the game with a team-leading .392 batting average. Also leads the team in RBIs and hits. But he does have at least one strikeout in 4 of the last 5 games. So if Brahms can start to get to him a little bit, attack the zone a little bit more, might be able to add a couple on. Opening pitch stays a bit low. Bounces in there for ball 1. Not necessarily an RBI opportunity here, but you never know with Robinson out there on the base paths. Robinson 7 of 8 in stolen base attempts this year. 1-0 the count. A quick glance over towards first from Brahms. And he's going to check the runner. Nice throw over there, but it's not quite in time. Count remains a 1-0. Brahms with a wait here. Here comes the 1-0 home. This one's a high pitch, and he catches Myers really chasing up there. So it looks like we're going to be pretty consistent with Parker Brahms' fastball. It's going to be sitting there just underneath 90 mile an hour. Really consistent, though, between 88 and 89, and then his off-speed lives in the mid-70s. 1-1 the count on the way home. This one's lifted high and foul to the left side. There was the changeup there from Brahms. Came in at just under 82 mile an hour. So the count now at 1-2 towards Daryl Myers. Big opportunity for Brahms to state his authority here and pick up an early out on the best hitter of the team. So 1-2 the count. Brahms sends it home. This one, a fastball that misses way up outside. Count at 2-2. After Myers, the middle of the order for the Thunderbolts looks like Manny Garcia, who's on first, Jace Mercer on second, and Peyton Isaacson behind the plate. Rounding out is the third baseman Jake Boone, shortstop Bryn Martinez, and the right fielder Nikola Vasic. The 2-2 to Myers. Fastball misses outside. So we finally saw Brahms hit the 90 mile an hour mark there. Brahms taking his time up there. You see him take a big, deep breath. Look over to first. 3-2 count towards Daryl Myers. Got to win this battle. Myers takes the pitch up high, and the runner was in motion anyway. It doesn't matter. It's ball 4. And back-to-back walks have given the Thunderbolts a pair of base runners. So that will bring up the first baseman, Manny Garcia. Enters the game batting .232 on the season. Has 10 RBIs, a chance here to add to it. 7 doubles for him, a triple, and 3 home runs. Garcia is just about as consistent as they come when it comes to picking up the extra couple of bases and RBIs. First offering to him, high and inside with the fastball for ball 1. Now there is some speed out there at second. Got to keep in mind Robinson is a pretty good base stealer. Probably won't see him try to snag third here, but you got to keep an eye on it. 1-0 the count towards Manny Garcia. And he takes this pitch right on the high edge of the zone for a called strike 1. Count evens up. Runners on first and second for Windy City. 1-1 count to Manny Garcia with 1 out here in the top half of the first inning. The 1-1. This one works its way outside. And again, Brahms finds himself down in a count, 2-1. So the 2-1 here. from Brahms. A glance out towards second. It's on its way. Off speed, just barely sneaks into the zone, that high inside corner. And the count evens up at 2-2. So the count now at 2-2, and Manny Garcia is trying to avoid a K, and that's exactly what Parker Brahms needs. A couple seconds of time called. Is still trying to work through this top half of the first inning as Parker Brahms. Back-to-back walks with one out have given Windy City an opportunity early in this game. The 2-2 on the way. This one swinging, strike three. Hefty hack on a pitch low in the zone. And it's the first German American Bank strikeout of the day for Parker Brahms. So with 2 on and 2 outs in the first inning, the 5-hole hitter, second baseman Jace Mercer, makes his walk up to the plate. Mercer is a .226 hitter on the season, only played in 14 games thus far. Mercer ready to go in there. Brahms takes a couple extra seconds, and the opening pitch misses just a bit low on the fastball. 1-0 the count. One of the count towards Jace Mercer with runners on first and second and 2 down. Brahms on the off speeds just glanced a bit too high. So the count now at 2-0. We know our umpiring crew this week is Nicholas Saxton, Mike O'Leary, and Kevin Furman. Not exactly sure where each one's going to be each night because of the canceled game. Digging back in is Jace Mercer, ahead in the count at 2-0. Next offering headed his way. That one works inside, and it's fouled away to the left side. Out of the ballpark. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jace Mercer. Important strike for Brahms to pick up there. Get himself a little closer in this count. Brahms really happy to take his time up there. Has the offering in the 2-1. Hefty swing and a miss on the off speed there from Jace Mercer. And the count heads to 2-2 with 2 outs and 2 on. Mercer sitting at a .226 average entering this game. Big RBI chance potentially for him here. Brahms trying to pick up another K. The 2-2 way outside on the fastball. Count is full for the third batter in this inning alone. So this is a really impressive Windy City team. I'll talk a lot about them here in the next 2 days. They are winners of 3 of their last 4 series. The one they didn't win, of course, was a 2-game split that they had with Schaumburg. The pitch stays inside for ball 4, and it's the 3rd walk of the inning for Parker Brahms. Every time in the last weekend, really just last week, in the series against Lake Erie and Gateway, the only time the Otters were ever in trouble is when they gave up lots of walks, and we've seen just about every starter struggle with it so far here in this last week. Dan Robinson on third, Daryl Myers on second, Jace Mercer on first. Bases are loaded, all via the walk. Brahms is just looking for his third out. This is where he only needs to take advantage of a batter. The one he's going to have a shot against will be the catcher, Peyton Isaacson, who enters the series batting .283 on the season. Opening offering to Peyton Isaacson is on the way now. This one's lifted high, deep, but foul to the left side for a really long strike one. And included in this last little stretch for the Thunderbolts, of course, they split the games with Schaumburg this last weekend, had a 3-game sweep against Gateway last week, then won a series against the New York Boulders, then had a really impressive sweep of Sussex County there to conclude their May series, or their May portion of their season. Pitch stays low for ball one, and the count evens up. They did lose both of the games they played at the Tri-Cities, and they, like the Otters, are responsible for one of the losses to Quebec. Quebec still enters today as the best team in the league at 18-4. Half of those 4 losses come to the 2 teams you're seeing on the field today. The 1-1 to Isaacson works inside ball 2 on the breaking ball. So now Brahms has to find a way to get himself out of this opportunity. 2-1 stays way high and outside. Count it 3-1 now. This is where the Otters need a pitcher other than really Tim Holdgrafer. I mean, they need a pitcher other than him to be able to really take advantage of batters when they get ahead in counts. Drilled to the right side. It's through for a base hit. 1 run's going to score. They're going to hold the runner at third. Probably smart they did. It was a solid throw for Mcnamee out in right field. But before the inning can end, an RBI single from Peyton Isaacson has given Windy City their first lead of the game. Now, I'll say this much. Don't be too worried. It's kind of crazy. When the Otters allow their opponent to score in the first inning, they're 3-3. Yet, when the Otters give up runs in that first inning and are trailing after 1, they're 4-1. First offering stays up high for a 1-0 count. So it's certainly not much to worry about. This is an Otters team that likes to backload their games with runs. A 1-0 is sent back over the top of Bossy Field and out of here. Again, if you're joining us over here on the Otters Digital Network, our apologies for the technical difficulties there on the Flow Sports side of things. But we're glad you're joining us here on the Otters Digital Network. A 1-1 just catches the low edge of the zone for a called strike 2 to Jake Boone. Boone is playing third today, where he's pretty typically playing in the infield. Second best hitter on the team, batting .295. Has the second most hits on the team. The 1-2 on the way. This one almost the exact same place. Stays a bit low for ball 2. So once again, an opportunity for Brahms to get himself out of an inning. This one's lifted high and foul to the right side. Phillips chasing after it in foul territory, hauls it in for the third out of the inning, but not before an RBI single from Peyton Isaacson has given Windy City the lead after 1/2 inning. After the top of the first, it's Windy City 1, Otters coming to bat with Gary Mattis, Biermann, and Baez. And welcome back inside the Otters Digital Network. Bottom of the first coming at you here, as Windy City has already put up a run in this game after an RBI single from Peyton Isaacson brought home 1 run after Parker Brahms had loaded the bases with walks, but he's able to get himself out of it, just allowing 1 run. We turn the page to the man throwing for Windy City, Garrett Christman. And Christman had a really successful college career at Butler University, just a few hours from here. And he was a two-way player, like many pitchers are in college. But during his collegiate years, he played all 4 years as a starter for Butler. And during those 4 years, he had a career batting average of 275, and his last year at Butler batting 375. So not bad for this man on the mound. Ever since, though, he's been completely committed to getting things done on the mound. He'll start off against the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Gary Mattis. It's the second year for Christman here at Windy City. He actually came across town last year from the Chicago Dogs in the American Association and hopped on board with Windy City. Played 7 games last season for Windy City, most of them not receiving official records for, because most of them he was coming out of the bullpen. But this year he has been a starter every single time thus far. Mattis looking at a 2-1 count. Breaks a bat as he sends a shot towards short. Throw over to first is in time for out number 1. And there goes some more lumber. Go grab some new lumber at our friends at Niehaus Lumber. So a quick 1-up, 1-down for the Otters. It brings up the designated hitter, Zach Biermann. And, Zach Biermann might be the best hitter on this team right now. He's been very consistent in this last week. He really helped lead the Otters through the series at Gateway. Had 3 home runs in the series and then wrapped it up with a 3 RBI game on Sunday, leading the Otters to that series win. Opening offering to Biermann. Rides inside for ball 1. The 1-0 for Biermann. Again, stays inside. This one a bit higher as well. Regardless, it's ball 2. Garrett Christman has a 5-pitch entourage, and he can just about put any in there for a strike. Makes him very hard to hit against. That's why he's been so successful this year. Though he is sitting at a 0-0 official record, he's got a 3.33 ERA through 4 games, pitched just over 24 innings, has 22 strikeouts in that time. Biermann takes a hefty cut, and he's looking at a 2-2 count with 1 out and no on. Next pitch just stays outside. The off speed there. And the count heads to full. The 3-2 to Biermann. Oh, off speed, caught him looking on the inside. Beautiful pitch there from Garrett Chrisman, and he has his first strikeout of the game. Man, he had Zach Biermann lost on that pitch, and it just barely got the zone. So that'll bring up the big man himself, left fielder Jeffrey Baez, kind of on a hitting slump right now. Not going to lie to you there. Though he is batting .228 on the season, it's been a struggle in the recent games. First offering to him stays low for ball 1. Baez has managed at least 1 hit in 4 of the 6 games since the Canadian road trip. But the problem is, in that time, a lot of those hits are coming with 2 outs, and then he gets left on, or they lead off the inning, and then there's 3 straight outs. He hasn't really been used properly. He did pick up an RBI sac fly in the series at Gateway, but it's been a real struggle for him to find his footing in this season. He has just 2 multi-hit games, and one of them was before the Canadian road trip. One was during that Lake Erie series. Outside of those 2 games, he really hasn't had a standout game yet. Looking at a 3-1 count now after taking another pitch outside it in the dirt. One of the first times we've seen Chrisman have to really work from behind. The 3-1 just catches the outside edge of the zone. Baez had already started walking towards first. But instead, the count heads to full for Jeffrey Baez. Important pitch here. The 3-2 just misses outside, and Baez will head to first for free on the 2-out walk. That's good for the first Deerhead Sidewalk Cafe and Bar of the game. And it'll now be the cleanup hitter, Dakota Phillips, who makes his way to the plate. And you see, for Phillips, it was a really strong start to the year for him. No 2 ways about it. I mean, he went on a 12-game hitting streak, 13-game on-base streak. But since then, it's been a lot tougher going for him. In fact, he struck out in 7 of his last 8 at-bats. 7 of his last 8 and 8 of his last 9. And the only one that wasn't a strikeout was a ground out. So Phillips desperately needs a breakout game to get back on the right path in this season. Runner on first is Jeffrey Baez with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the first inning. Otters trail by 1. 0-1, lifted out towards right field. Working in is Vosic, and he'll bring it in for out number 3. Otters able to get a runner on with 2 outs, but he will stay put there on the base paths after 1 full inning. It's Windy City 1, Evansville 0 here on the Otters Digital Network. Getting set for the top half of the second inning here on the Otters Digital Network. Otters unable to do anything with a 2-out runner. And now Windy City's going to have another shot. And more importantly, Parker Brahms is going to have another shot to keep runners off the base paths. Wouldn't have had any issues in that top half of the first inning had he not walked 3 of the first 5 batters he saw. And really put him in a tough situation to try to have to pitch around, ended up giving the RBI single up to Peyton Isaacson. But he's starting fresh with the 8-9-1 hitters here. Ren Martinez gets us started in the second. First offering just catches the low inside corner for a called strike one. Martinez entering the series batting .228 with an on-base percentage just over the 300 line. Kind of what you expect out of a 8-hole hitter, but can't overlook them, as they always seem to be the ones that snag a hit off you at the worst time. Ball is sent high and foul to the left side and ends up dropping down into left field after bouncing off the overhang and here at Bossy Field. Just a really long strike, too, is all it is. But Brahms has himself ahead in the count 0-2. This is where the Otters need a man to step up and start winning some of these battles. The offering on 0-2. This one's belted out towards right field. Mcnamee with a long run in, and he makes another good catch out there and left. Or right, I'm sorry. So with one down, no one on, Nikola Vasic will make the walk up to the plate. Vasic is batting .228 on this. Actually, I had that wrong. Vasic batting .182 on the season. Just looked in the wrong line there. Just one extra base hit for him and 8 hits thus far is a triple. First offering to him stays just inside that high side of the zone for a called strike one. Brahms out of the stretch, the 0-1. Off speed, misses high. Little bit of a break there for the 1-1. Hard swing again on a pitch that was higher in the zone, but still compelling there, and the count's now at 1-2 for Vasic. One to the count with one out here. Vasic goes digging after one. It gets away from the catcher Felix. Won't be any time for the throw out to first. And Vasic is going to reach on the drop third strike. So just one out and now a runner on. That'll bring up the leadoff man once again, Jarius Richards. He lined out to right field his first time up. First offering to Richards. Just misses the low inside corner for ball one. Pretty decent lead over there at first for Vasic. Vasic headed towards second. The throw out there. Nice throw. Not in time. Vasic picks off second base there here with one out. And the Otters are going to have to hope that the drop third strike doesn't come back to haunt them here. Runner out there on second now with just one out. Center fielder Jarius Richards looking at a 1-1 count now. Pitch is on the way. That one stays low and outside. So 2-1 the count now. Well, that drops Justin Felix once again. And the 11 times men have tried to steal bases on him. He's just caught one of the 11. The 2-1 for Jarius Richards on the way now. Brahms sneaks it by him on the swinging strike 2. Count evens up at 2-2. Just one out and a runner on second. Once again, Brahms has himself trying to work around a RBI chance for the Thunderbolts. 2-2 stays in there for a called strike 3. It's the second German American Bank strikeout of the game for Parker Brahms. So that'll bring up the 2-hole hitter, designated hitter Dan Robinson. He was the first walk there in that first inning. Then he would eventually come home to score on Isaacson's RBI single. First offering in this at-bat is sent fouled off to the left side. And once again, Brahms has a chance to grab that first strike and be the one that dictates the next couple of moves. Couple seconds of time taken there from Robinson, and he's dug in, ready to go on the 0-1. Brahms has his sign. Glance out towards second. They're going to go that way. Just about had him. Oh, that was close. Good work out there from both Brahms and Armstrong to get the play out there towards second. Bosic just barely made it back in time. 0-1 the count. Stays high and outside on the off speed there. One ball, one strike. 2 outs and 1 on for Windy City. The man at second is Nikola Vasic. 1-1 to Robinson. This one is sent foul up and over the seating area here at Bosse Field. 2 games tomorrow. Doubleheader starts at 5:30 as we make up last night's game. 1 ticket gets you into both games. So why wouldn't you want to come join us here for Thirsty Thursday? We're going to have working distributors, Tri-State Food Bank, and our friends from WSTO Hot 96 FM out here for a beautiful night of baseball. The 1-2 stays a bit high. The count evens up at 2-2. Would absolutely love to see the Evansville faithful come and pack Bosse Field on a beautiful Thursday evening. Buy tickets now at EvansvilleOtters.com. The 2-2 just catches the low inside corner for a called strike 3, the second German American Bank strikeout of the inning for Brahms, and a leadoff man, or a 1-out lead man getting on via the drop third strike will not come back to haunt the Otters. They still trail by 1 as we head to the bottom half of the second inning here on the Otters Digital Network. And welcome back inside the historic Bosse Field for the bottom half of the second inning. Couple of roster moves for the Otters worth noting is that Brett Adcock was placed on the 7-day injured list, retroactive back to June 2nd, which is last Thursday, so he'd be eligible to come off tomorrow. Tyler Spring has been activated from the suspended list, and both Steven Sinsley and George Khalil were placed on the COVID injured list. And the Otters also released Ronnie Allen Jr. All of those took place yesterday. Just one or two pickups since then, as catcher Brody Tanksley was signed and infielder Chandler Dunn were signed both today. Leading off the bottom half of the second inning will be the 5, 6, 7 hitters of Davis, McNamee, and Gordon. First offering towards Davis, works to the low inside corner for a called strike one. Davis turns and asks the home plate umpire just to check on things there and readies himself to step back in. Now looking at an 0-1 count. 0-1 on the way. This one stays outside. Count evens up at a ball and a strike. A little bit of a break here before the next pitch, and here comes the 1-1 from Chrisman. Sent on a line to the left side, but a bit foul. Heads over towards the headman, Andy McCauley, who stands where a third base coach box usually would be. Otters were able to get a man on there in the first inning. It was Baez reaching on a walk with 2 outs. He was left there, however. Sharply hit ball to the shortstop, Martinez, who makes a nice backhanded play. Sent over to first in plenty of time for out number 1. Hard hit ball from Davis, but it won't matter. Might have been a base hit on one of the turf fields you see around this league, but definitely not here on the natural grass. Davis is making the long walk back towards the dugout. And Elijah McNamee makes the step into the box. McNamee enters the game batting .281. McNamee's first chance. Hot corner. Sent on a line to the third baseman, Boone, who hauls it in. 1 pitch, 1 out for Elijah McNamee. And just a few pitches after this inning starts, it's quickly 2 down for the Otters. Both off sharply hit balls to the left side. Well, that'll bring up, if not Biermann being the hottest hitter on this Otters team, then it's this guy right here, the center fielder Miles Gordon. First chance for Gordon on the way. He lets it go by for a called strike one up in the high part of the zone. You see, Miles Gordon, the Canadian himself, went 1 for 20 in the 6 games the team was north of the border in Canada. In the 6 games since returning home, so the 3 against Lake Erie and the 3 against Gateway, he's 10 of 20, which leads the Otters at a .500 average and has been really hard to pitch around. A 1-1 and a big swing for him on a pitch that broke towards the outside and falls down in the count 1-2 now. Garrett Chrisman, the windup and the pitch on the 1-2 just misses outside. Really close to the inning ending on that pitch. The 2-2 again works inside. So now a full count to Miles Gordon after he took the fastball just a tad bit inside off the plate. Full count towards Gordon. He accidentally check swings it right back up to the pitcher, who plays it over to first in plenty of time. 3 up, 3 down in the second inning. Otters still trail by 1 here after 2 full innings on the Otters Digital Network. Parker Brahms and the Evansville Otters take back to the field for the top of the third inning. Happy you're joining us here on a beautiful, yet a bit humid Wednesday afternoon here from Evansville, Indiana. Tell you, the Tarp has seen some action this week thus far. A lot of rain in the closing hours of yesterday caused yesterday's game to be postponed due to wet field conditions. But it does look like there is a chance that more rain could move into the Evansville area this evening. Good news for you, tomorrow looks like it's going to be a perfect day for a doubleheader of baseball between Windy City and Evansville. If you can't join us in person, join us here on the Otters Digital Network once again tomorrow. First pitch at 5:30 for game one of that doubleheader. A reminder that both games of the doubleheader will be 7 innings tomorrow. 0-1 the count towards Daryl Myers, who walked his first time up, was stranded at third, however. Myers is a booming hitter towards right field. Mcnamee lays out. It's another unreal catch for Elijah Mcnamee. When will this man stop making highlight reel catches in right field? The 6th diving catch of the week thus far for Elijah Mcnamee. And it's almost become second nature for him out there. He had a quick time out there just to rearrange his pants over the knee. I'll tell you what, he absolutely robbed Peter Zimmerman of a hit back there at Gateway in right field with a diving catch. Ended up completely scraping up his elbow and knee. Of course, with it being turf there at Gateway, that does a lot of damage to you when it's when you slide just right on it. All that rubber that's in that turf really can tear up your arms. He had a big gash there on his left arm. But he's done it all for the right reason, able to get some quality outs for the Otters. And now here in the top of the third inning, there's one down as the first baseman, Manny Garcia, heads to the plate. He struck out his first time up, currently looking at a 1-1 count after a ball inside and then a foul ball into the netting on a high pitch. The 1-1 to him now, off speed, graces its way into the zone. Oh man, like that one out of the hand of Parker Brahms. Big opportunity right here for Brahms to snag 2 outs to start this half inning. Parker Brahms with a deep breath on the mound, and here comes the 1-2. That one bounces in, evening the count at 2-2. Big thank you to all of you who are joining us here on the Otters Digital Network. We apologize for the technical difficulties going on there on the Flow Sports side of things. We're hoping to have those things corrected, if not by the end of this game, at least for tomorrow. But never forget that we'll have every game of the season available here on the Otters Digital Network, audio only, just in case you need it. Ball is hammered towards left field. Baez chasing after it, and he will haul it in about 3 feet shy of the left field line for out number 2 against Manny Garcia. 2 up, 2 down as the second baseman, Jace Mercer, makes the walk to the plate. He walked as well in the first inning. He was actually the third walk of that inning and loaded the bases at one point. He was stranded out at second, however. Brahms, a little more time before this pitch. It stays a bit low for ball 1. Went with the fastball there. Noon game today. The doubleheader tomorrow kicks off at 5:30. Both games 7 innings. You can catch them both here on the Otters Digital Network. The 1-0 towards Mercer. That one stays inside and gets past the catcher Felix. 2-0 the count. A little bit different look for the Otters infield. Armstrong there at short, Phillips at first. That's the big 2 changes. And, of course, that's because of a couple additions to the COVID IL list this week. Three straight balls to Jace Mercer as Brahms in a tough place here. Finds the inside half for a called strike one. 3-1 the count now. So Brahms needs another one here. 3 balls, 1 strike, pitch on the way. That one misses high and outside, and it's a 5-pitch walk for Jace Mercer. A 2-out walk for him, and it's the second one of the day. So now the catcher, Peyton Isaacson, heads in. He has the only hit of the ball game for either side. It was an RBI single there in the first inning. And really, this is another quality opportunity for him. Runner heading to second. Throw out there. Not in time. Another stolen base in this game for the Thunderbolts. This one, Jace Mercer. So in the series against Gateway, it was really the Otters stealing a ton of bases. And now here in game 1 against Windy City, they've had 2 snagged on them already. 1-0 the count. Brahms sends it home. Hefty swinging strike one evens the count at a ball and a strike. So 1-1 the count now with 2 outs. Brahms fires it there. Mattis will rush up on it. Send it over to first and Phillips for out number 3. And a 2-out walk doesn't come back to hurt the Otters at all. After 2.5 innings, it's Windy City 1, Otters 0, and Evansville heads up to bat next. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Headed your way on the Otters Digital Network. Evansville looking for an equalizer still after allowing that RBI single in the top half of the 1st inning. Has them chasing a little bit, but have no fear. In games that the Otters have trailed after 1 inning, they're 4-1. It's once they get towards the later innings that you have to be a little more worried. So Justin Felix will get us started here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. He'll be followed by Andy Armstrong and Gary Mattis. Though Felix has struggled since the team came back from Canada, he was the hottest bat while they were up there, north of 300 that week. First chance for Felix. He takes a pitch on the inside edge. 75 mile an hour on that one. Big off speed, able to catch Felix looking at it. So 0-1 the count towards Felix. Ready on the next pitch. Half swings at this one. Did he go? Yes, he did. And he's down on the count 0-2. So they appeal it down there at first and say yes, he did. And Felix will have to work from behind. He is really good on 0-2 pitches, though. Does pull a lot of walks out of these. Starts off with ball one outside and starts to work his way back into the count. So 1-2 the count now to Felix. Enters the game batting .261, which is pretty middle of the road for the Otters. A hefty swing at a pitch that breaks low and inside, and he sits down on 4 pitches via the strikeout. It's the second strikeout of the game for Garrett Christman. And with that, the 9-hole hitter, shortstop Andy Armstrong, makes the walk to the plate. Armstrong was a man who started the season really hot, but has since fallen off, down to a .254 average. Just one extra base hit for him on the year. First pitch, he checks swings, and they check down at first and say, yes, he did. So 0-1 the count towards Armstrong. He half swings again. They check down at first again. And again, yes, he did. 3-3 down there at first base with the check swings so far. And with that, the entire outfield shifts a bit to the right now. Thinking Armstrong's going to push a ball to right field. The 0-2 to him. Hefty swinging strike 3, and it's back-to-back strikeouts to start the third inning for Garrett Christman. Back to the the Edward Jones, Gary Mattis, leadoff hitter of this game. And for Gary Mattis, he's really struggled in the leadoff spot. Now, he has not struggled later in the game, but when he is the first man to bat for the Otters each and every night, that at-bat is usually a pretty typical, tough one for him. And the first pitch stays just a tad bit too high for ball 1. 1-0, and it's a big swing for Mattis, so hard that his elbow pad came off. And now Mattis will have to be a little more methodical, looking at a 1-1 count. The 1-1 works high and inside, just about clips him in that elbow pad. So 2-1 the count towards the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Gary Mattis. Check swings on a pitch that's low and outside. And it's a 3-1 count to it. Mattis takes it low and outside yet again, and he'll head to first with a 2-out walk. It's the second Deerhead Sidewalk Cafe and Bar of the game for the Otters. So with Mattis over there on first, I'm not telling you to bet the farm, but you could bet just short of the farm that Mattis is going to be stealing second here. And if you're Windy City, you absolutely need to go check him at least once. Biermann heads to the plate. The first pitch, Mattis is taken off to second. The throw out there, bounces in there. Did they get it in time? No, the ball fell out of the glove of the second baseman. And just like that, Gary Mattis has retaken the lead of the Frontier League in stolen bases with 15. He and Brannon from Washington have been battling back and forth for the top spot. 15 for Gary Mattis now. Watch out, he might do it again. The 1-0 to Biermann. Off speed just catches the outside edge, evening the count at a ball and a strike. Biermann was great in these situations this weekend at Gateway. The 1-1. Biermann sends it out towards right field. Vosic chasing back towards the warning track and hauls it in for the third out of the inning. Solid contact for Biermann, comes up empty. And after 3 full innings, it's Windy City 1, Evansville 0, here on the Otters Digital Network. Top of the 4th inning. Headed at you next on the Otters Digital Network. Bottom of the order for the Thunderbolts due up. Boone, Martinez, and Vosic, the 7-8-9 hitters. But Parker Brahms, despite having a runner on, at least one runner on in every inning, was much better in the 2nd and 3rd innings. Did give up a 2-out walk in the 3rd, but was able to pick up an out right afterwards and take away the opportunity. Jake Boone's first chance, and he lifts the ball out towards right field, shallow right. Mcnamee working his way in and hauls it in for out number 1. One pitch, 1 out here, as the 8-hole man, Bryn Martinez, makes his way up to the plate. Good a chance as any to take a look around the Fox Sports WYFX Frontier League scoreboard. Just one final so far today. Sussex County gets a 6-3 win over New York. Then, of course, our game going on. Everything else is this evening. On the docket, Tri-City at Washington, New Jersey at Lake Erie, Ottawa at Trois-Rivières, Empire State at Quebec, Gateway at Schaumburg, and Florence at Joliet. 1-0 is sent towards the right side of the infield. Mattis plays it off the heel of his glove, and it's an error, letting the shortstop Bryn Martinez reach. Had been some time since Mattis's last error, but he gets hit again on one here. That's the 4th error on Mattis. That's the 2nd most on the team, just behind George Khalil with 5. A quick pickoff over to first is over in time. Martinez back safely. And sitting there at home ready for his first offering is still Nikola Vasic. Stepping off for a second is Parker Brahms. Now he's ready to go. First offering to Nikola Vasic. Kick and delivery. That one works towards the outside. Ball one. Of course, as we go through the game, we'll also kind of keep you updated with what to look at in the Seal Corp Frontier League standings. Lots of games mean a lot of different things. The 1-0, and they're going to maybe have the runner. No. Getting caught between first and second for a second there was Bryn Martinez, but the throw out to get him was a bit hesitant, and because of it, he was back to first in time. It was strike one, so the count's evened up at a ball and a strike. The 1-1. Pretty big swing, but it just tips foul back into the glove of Felix. 1-2 the count. A chance for Brahms to snag another strikeout. He struck out Nikola Vasic the first time up, but Vasic reached on the drop third strike. Running towards second is Martinez. The throw out there in time for out number 2. And it is a strike him out, throw him out that ends the inning for the Otters. A couple of people didn't realize that was the third out of the inning, but indeed it is. And after 3.5, it's Windy City 1, Otters 0. We've got a great game coming at you here on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon on the Otters Digital Network. Bottom half of the fourth inning, moving along nicely in this one as both pitchers have done a pretty good job to control little pieces of the game here and there. Due up in the bottom half of the fourth for the Otters, Jeffrey Baez, Dakota Phillips, and J.R. Davis. Otters still searching for that first hit of this ball game. They have had a couple of base runners, both on walks. The first one to pick up a walk was this man right here, Jeffrey Baez. First pitch to Baez, outside ball one. Fastball just kept carrying out there. Bit of a earlier game here on a Senior Connection Wednesday. Hefty swing from Baez, evens the count at 1-1. And of course, the teams will make up last night's game tomorrow with a doubleheader starting at 5:30. You can catch both games here on the Otters Digital Network, or come join us here at historic Bosse Field. Baez chops onto the left side. Tough play by the third baseman. Long throw just barely beats Baez at first. He had to run a long way over there at third, but Boone made a nice snag, set his feet, and threw to first in time for out number 1. So with one down now, the first baseman, Dakota Phillips, heads in there. He flew out to right field his first time up. Phillips finally heads into the box for his first chance of this at-bat. Looking for a big hit to get himself back on the right side of things. But the first ball is just fouled off to the left side. The outfield playing just a tiny bit shifted to the right. Infield shifted to the right as well. Everyone kind of expecting him to pull. 0-1 to Phillips. Takes it inside for ball one. Phillips does a nice job when he has the right pitch of pushing the ball to left field. And there is a huge gap out there in left center now. The 1-1. Phillips with another big swing, but he ended up just a bit shy of the ball and is risking another strikeout. 9 of his last 11 at-bats have resulted in strikeouts. Not just at-bats, plate appearances altogether. And it's a foul tip, strike 3 for him into the glove of Isaacson, and it's a strikeout for Dakota Phillips, the 4th of the game for Garrett Chrisman. So with 2 down, the third baseman J.R. Davis has a chance, and this is exactly what plagued the Otters while they were in Canada, was getting 2 early outs in an inning and then having to try to do stuff with 2 already. And of course, that was the big difficulty for him. You saw it already in this game with 2 outs. Mattis got on with a walk all the way back in the first with 2 outs. Baez got on with a walk, but neither could do much with 2 outs. First offering to Davis, works a bit inside for a called strike 1. 0-1 towards Davis. Davis lifts it up deep towards left field. Chasing it is Myers, and it's foul by about 15 feet. Just about made it out there. But Davis will have to try again. Estimated distance on that was 325 in that left field corner, so just shy of that wall anyway. An 0-2 stays high. And Davis is at least still alive in the count for now. Now he pushes one to the right side of the outfield and right center field. Underneath it is the right fielder Vasic. 4 out number 3. It's another 3 up, 3 down inning for the Otters. We head to the 5th with still just 1 run in this game, just 1 hit in this game through 4 complete innings. Windy City has the advantage, 1-0. Parker Brahms and the Evansville Otters back out onto the field, still looking at a 1-0 disadvantage. And kind of crazy that the one hit in this game has been the one deciding factor in this game. Other than that, both pitchers have done a nice job to work themselves out of inconvenience walks and kept this game pretty nice. Parker Brahms starts off the fifth inning with a pitch high and outside on the fastball. Brahms looking to keep a really solid start to the year alive. Another pitch high and outside on the fastball that got away from Brahms. So 2-0 the count to Jarius Richards, the leadoff man for the Thunderbolts. Hefty swing. Just about got caught swinging out of his shoes. And it's a 2-1 count towards Richards. So 2-1, the count for Richards. Another big swing. He was just behind that one. And the count evens up at a pair of each. 2-2 pitch here from Brahms. Big opportunity for him to start off an inning the right way. It's chopped foul back into the backstop. Two balls, two strikes to the leadoff man, Jarius Richards, who has struck out and lined out so far in this game. He lifts the ball up at high and foul to the left side. Gets out towards the parking lot. Two balls, two strikes, and Brahms is really having to earn this first out here of the fifth inning. This one is barreled out towards right center. Long run for Mcnamee, and it ends up being Miles Gordon who calls him off and hauls in the first out of the inning to Jarius Richards. So with that, the two-hole hitter, Dan Robinson, heads up for his third opportunity of the game. Walked in the first inning, came around to score. Right now, that is the game deciding score. And then he also struck out in the second inning. First offering, and Robinson tips it foul into the glove of Felix for strike number one. 0-1 for Dan Robinson. And that one catches the zone. Quickly 0-2 for Dan Robinson. Parker Brahms trying to pick up a strikeout here. Stays a bit high with the fastball. 1-2 the counts. One, two. This one's lifted up and foul behind home plate. And, you know, in series openers, of the 7 series the Otters have played thus far this year, they are 4-3, yet they've only won 3 of those series. So needing another strong outing here in the first game of a 3-game set. The 1-2 stays a bit high and outside, evening the count at 2-2. The 2-2. This one's sent hard to the right side, down for a base hit. Long run for Mcnamee. Finally picks it up, and it's just going to be a stand-up double for Dan Robinson. Just the second hit of the game combined between these two teams. In a series that could very well have 3 games all separated by 1 run. This is a really big 1-out hit for the Thunderbolts. Daryl Myers makes the walk to the plate, and, well, there's nobody better on this team at picking up quality hits and RBIs than him. And he's got a huge RBI chance here with an insurance run right out there on seconds. Myers calls time real quick and steps out. Myers is 0 for 1 on the game. Walked in the first inning and then was robbed by Mcnamee. Joined the line, Daryl Myers, and men that are upset with Elijah Mcnamee's defensive plays this week. First chance just misses on the outside edge for ball 1. Expecting a pretty good crowd on hand tomorrow night. We'd love to see you be part of it. Game 1 of the doubleheader starts at 5:30. 1-0. Catches the high outside corner. A late decision from the home plate umpire, but it is even at 1-1. Like I said, game 1 will start at 5:30. Game 2 will start 30 minutes after the conclusion of game 1. 2 7-inning games coming at you on Thursday. Our friends from Working Distributors, Tri-State Food Bank, and WSTO Hot 96 will all be here in attendance. Why not you? Love to see you join us all here and be part of Evansville Otters baseball. Had a lot of fun in the home games thus far this year, and what better night to come join us than Thursday tomorrow night. Discounted drafts and domestic cans here at historic Bosse Field. 1-2 the count to Daryl Myers. This would be a huge outs for Parker Brahms to get the most dangerous hitter on the team. Here comes the 1-2. Just misses on the outside edge, and the home plate umpire stands up shaking his head saying, no, not quite. 89 mile an hour from the pitcher Brahms, and maybe we'll see the off-speed return here. 2-2, the count towards Daryl Myers. 1 out and a runner on second. Windy City has a 1-0 lead. Hefty swinging strike 3. It's a German-American Bank strikeout from Parker Brahms, his 4th of the game. So with Robinson standing out there on second, the first baseman Manny Garcia heads into the box. Garcia's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout thus far. Kind of scares you with a guy like him being 0 for 2 to start the game. He's almost due for a base hit. First offering right across the heart of the plate for a called strike 1. Oh, 1 the count for Garcia, and it's on the way. This one chopped foul to the left side, stays foul. And Garcia quickly down 0-2 in the count, trying to avoid his potential second strikeout of the game. Brahms, regardless if a man's on base or not, throwing out of the stretch instead of the windup. And this one is on an 0-2 count. First time is called by Garcia. We'll have to wait a second before the potential payoff pitch. Brahms with a deep breath. A glance out towards second, then the 0-2. Swinging strike 3, another German-American Bank strikeout from Parker Brahms, his 6th of the game. Gets the Otters out of the 5th inning. We head to the bottom half of the 5th. Due up for the Otters. is Mcnamee, Gordon, and Felix here on the Otters Digital Network. Bottom of the 5th inning on the way here on the Otters Digital Network. Not a lot of scoring in this game, just 1-0. In fact, there's just 2 combined hits, and they both belong to Windy City. Good work from both Garrett Chrisman and Parker Braum so far in this game. Pleased you're joining us here on the Otters Digital Network. Again, we want to issue another apology to you about the issues we're having with Flow Sports today. Hoping to have it ready to go by tomorrow. But regardless, we're glad you're joining us here on our YouTube page here, where you can find every Otters game all season long, home or away. First chance for Elijah Mcnamee, a hefty swing that he maybe got a tiny piece of. Regardless, it's strike 1 for him. Mcnamee lined out to the third baseman his first time up. An absolute rocket shot over there, but it was right to where Boone was placed. Now in the second pitch here, he lays one down into right center field. Forget a base hit. It's extra bases for Elijah Mcnamee for the first base hit of the game for the Evansville Otters. It's a leadoff double for Elijah Mcnamee. That's the right guy to start the offense with, because you've got a hot bat of Miles Gordon following him. Justin Felix and Andy Armstrong will round out afterwards. Excited to see what Miles Gordon can do here. Immediately, the outfield takes a big shift to the right, expecting him to pull just a bit. Infield is playing at double play depth on the right side of the infield, but on the left side, they're expecting bunt. So there is a huge gap in between the shortstop and third baseman now. First offering to Gordon, he shows bunt and puts it foul down the third base line. I get it, but I don't love the idea of Miles Gordon bunting here. He's been efficient with the bat in the last week. Would like to see him go ahead and swing the bat here. He's 10 of 20 in his last 6 games. The 0-1 works inside and evens the count at a ball and a strike. Quick discussion out there by Mcnamee and Martinez, the shortstop for Windy City. And Gordon ready for the 1-1. See if he shows bunt again. He does not. He swings the bat and pulls it to the right side. Is it foul? It is. Would have worked just as well as a sacrifice bunt, but instead he will have to make the long walk back to the box and still look at a 1-2 count. Count heads to 1-2 for Miles Gordon. The runner out there at second is Elijah Mcnamee. See what Garrett Chrisman offers him here on the 1-2. On the way now. Gordon sends it out into right field. It's down for a base hit. Long run for the right fielder, Vasich. He runs past it, And just like that, it's an RBI for Miles Gordon. A Deerhead double-decker double brings in a run, and we are tied at 1 run apiece here from Bosse Field. Big hit from the hottest Otter in the last week, Miles Gordon. Well, we knew that the Otters offense liked to be a little backloaded, and seems to be exactly what the issue was today. Back-to-back doubles to start off this bottom half of the 5th inning have given the Otters a tie game at 1, still with no outs as the catcher Justin Felix makes his way to the plate. A man who's really kind of struggled with finding contentment at the plate. Been a little bit off and on for him. Steps in and he's ready for the first offering. Felix, the catcher today. His first pitch, hefty swing, and he was out in front of it for a swinging strike 1. The hand sign from his head man, Andy McCauley, down there at third base was the 2 hands pushing down. Just calm down a little bit for this next swing. 0-1 the count to Justin Felix. Runner on second is Miles Gordon. No outs. The 0-1. Another hefty swing, and again, way out in front of it is Justin Felix on the off speed. That pitch just coming across at 75. So we'll try again, this time on the 0-2, and Justin Felix will have to get a bit defensive in there. Here comes the 0-2. Running towards third is Gordon. The throw out there. Is it in time? No, it's not. A stolen base for Miles Gordon. The third baseman, Boone, didn't like the call. Gutsy play there from Gordon to pick off third. And it was a ball towards Felix, so he's looking at a 1-2 count. One, two, the count to Justin Felix. This one's hit hard to the left side, but well foul over the head of Andy McCauley. Always great for both teams, regardless of who you root for, to get through to the 5th inning, 6th inning, and still both bullpens are unneeded thus far. It's just good quality baseball. 1-2 the count to Justin Felix, a runner at third in the form of Miles Gordon. No outs. Works inside, and the count evens up at 2-2. Inning started with a leadoff double for Elijah Mcnamee. It was followed by a double from Miles Gordon that brought a run in. Then Gordon stole third. That's why we have no outs. Steer in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Garrett Chrisman on the mound, throws home the 2-2. Stays outside, full counts, and the entire Otters dugout applauding the work of Justin Felix, who went down early in the count 0-2 and has now clawed his way back to a full count. Chrisman with a little bit of a break here as he's waiting for Felix to step back in. Felix has, and we're ready for a full count payoff pitch with no outs. Pitch on the way. This one skied high towards left field. Will Gordon try to advance? He will not on the sac fly. He might have had a chance on the fly out to the center fielder. And Felix will sit down after the fly out. So with one down and a runner on third, the shortstop Andy Armstrong makes his way to the plate. I'll be honest with you. would not be surprised in the slightest if Armstrong tried to lay a bunt down the third base line here. He worked really hard, especially in the batting practice at Gateway, just laying bunts down for a lot of his BP time. It surely would not surprise me. He takes a called strike one on the inside edge for strike one at the beginning of this at-bat. The 0-1 works inside and evens the count at a ball and a strike. It does look like there is a man starting to warm up for Windy City. Neil Abatiello starts to go, the 6'1", 185-pounder out of North Salem, New York. The 1-1 to Armstrong. Sends one to the left side. It gets foul. Had that one stayed just a tad bit more fair for a little bit longer, it might have even been a infield RBI single for Andy Armstrong. Instead, he has to make the walk back to home plate. One ball, two strikes to Andy Armstrong with one out here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Otters have already tied the game, but they've got a go-ahead run just 90 feet away there in the form of Miles Gordon. The 1-2 to Armstrong. Swinging strike three. The catcher lost it. The throw out to first, not in time. And Armstrong's going to reach on the drop, third strike. So it works out in the favor of the Otters. They're still sitting with just one out. Now runners on the corners as the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game. Gary Mattis makes the walk up. First, a quick sermon up on the mount for Windy City, as they'll go have a talk of things up there. The entire infield comes in for the discussion. Good a time as any to walk you through what the Steel Corp Frontier League standings look like. Leading the West Division is the Washington Wild Things at a 13-9 record. Just a half game back, both Schaumburg and Evansville at 12-9. A full game back, Windy City and Gateway, who Windy City at 11-9, Gateway at 12-10. Then there's Joliet, 2.5 games back in the lead with an 11-10 record. 11-12, apologies. Lake Erie at 10-12 is 3 games back in the lead, and Florence at 7-14, 5.5 games back. Florence has to get on their horse if they'd like to get back into this fight. Right now, it is becoming a 5-horse race between Washington, Schaumburg, Evansville, Windy City, and Gateway. On the East, it's really a 2-horse race right now. Quebec at 18-4, 2.5 games back is Ottawa at 15-6, 4.5 games back is Tri-City at 13-8, 7 games back New York at 11-11, 8 games back is Trois-Rivières at 9-11, 8.5 games back is Sussex County. Infield bunt towards the right side. Both runners advance. It's an RBI sacrifice from Gary Mattis. I like a play like that. Get the runner home and advance a runner as well. So Armstrong will reach second. Miles Gordon will score from third. All on Mattis's sacrifice there in the infield. Opening offering to Zach Biermann. And he gets hit on the inside of his right knee. And he heads to first for free now. Well, his at-bat didn't really last long enough for me to mention it. But Zach Biermann, his last time up, flew out to right field, hitting it 327 feet, which is not near a home run here, but would have been a home run there at Gateway where he hit 3 last week. First offering to Jeffrey Baez. Pitch stays a bit low for ball one. Baez is a man that really needs a game that could blow open his season. He's really struggled to stay consistent at the plate. He'll give you one hit pretty much every other game, but the Otters would love to see him be at least 1 or 2 hits in each game. A 1-0 from Baez. He lifts one up towards right field. Retreating just a few steps is Vasic, and then works in a little bit for out number 3, but not before the Otters score 2 and take a lead here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Otters now in control of this game after a strong 5th. We head to the 6th inning right after this on the Otters Digital Network. You are joining us on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon here from Evansville. A bit humid, but the wind is keeping things pretty nice. Mid 80s. Rain was here last night and then pretty much disappeared all day today. It's been nice for the Otters, and the only thing that's been more enjoyable has been the pitching performance there from Parker Brahms and Garrett Chrisman. Chrisman did struggle in that bottom half of the 5th, and Parker Brahms kind of struggled in the top half of the 1st, but other than that, both have been really solid in this game. Bulls first offering, it's set on the line towards Mattis, who plays at the first. 1 hit, 1 out, or sorry, 1 pitch, 1 out in the 6th here for Windy City. It'll bring up the catcher Peyton Isaacson, who currently is the only man to bring a runner in for the Thunderbolts. An RBI single in the 1st, and then he grounded out in the 3rd. Isaacson just batting .283 on the season entering the game. A lot of mid 200 hitters on this Windy City team. And it's a called strike 1 that gets us started in the top half of the 6th inning with 1 out. 0-1 is chopped foul back towards the backstop netting. 0-2 early for Parker Brahms in this count. Taking full pitches out there for Windy City is number 16, Neil Abatiello, who will likely come in to pitch the 6th inning for Windy City. We'll just have to see. 0-2 count is sent zooming back into the netting. And Brahms will have to try again to get a punch out on the 0-2. An 0-2 is lifted out towards right field. Mcnamee took 2 steps in, took 2 steps right back out, and hauled it in for out number 2. Quick 6th inning thus far. Couple of quick outs for Parker Brahms. And it brings up the third baseman, Jake Boone, who is 0 for 2 in this game with a fly out to right And a foul out in the huge foul area of Bosse Field here on the right side. So Jake Boone enters the game batting .295. Likely needs a couple hits in the back half of this game to keep himself near the 300 level. It's a called strike one to start it. The 0-1 just misses on the outside edge, evening the count of the ball and a strike. Good to see Brahms continue his good form in this season. Tries the curveball but misses it a bit high. Falls behind the count 2-1. Brahms just pitching out of the stretch and just misses the zone to the outside edge. Brahms is a man that's originally from Moore Park, California. Played in the low A affiliation with the Pittsburgh Pirates last year. The first pitch on the 3-1 is a called strike two, putting the count at full. Yeah, Brahms was with that Pittsburgh Pirates organization last year and spent some time with the rookie level Pirates Black. That's where he had his only start. Most of his appearances, all 20 in fact, came out of the bullpen. Pretty high ERA, but was able to kind of bounce back with that. He went to college at California State Sacramento. He was an all WAC first team honoree in 2017 and 18 and was a WAC freshman of the year in 2017. And now he's starting to put all of those accolades to good work, being a rock solid starter for this Otters team. You never really know how the rotation could change around, but at this point, I would consider him the Otters' second best starter. Full count yet again. Pitch on the way. And it's sent foul again to the right side. Good defensive hitting from Jake Boone. Try again on the full count. 2 outs, nobody on. This one's lifted out towards left. Baez will walk 2 steps back and watch this one go. That ball is hammered over the left field. 394 feet, and the game is tied. Huge home run from Jake Boone. Man, he knew right away with that one. Certainly cleared the brick fence out there as well. 395 feet have tied the game at 2. So now the 8-hole man, Bryn Martinez makes the walk up. Reached on an error in the 4th, but he is 0-2 in the game. Starts off with a called strike one on the inside edge. Again, catches the inside edge, and down 0-2 in the counts is Martinez. A half swing. They say, yes, he did. It's a swinging strike 3 for Bryn Martinez. But the Thunderbolts are able to tie this game on a absolute moonshot of a home run to left. This game is tied at 2 runs apiece. And we're ready to come back at you here with the bottom of the 6th inning there. Apologies for the little bit late notice or late return. A couple of changes happened right there at the end. Right after I signed off, as he was walking off the field, Bryn Martinez must have stated a couple extra words that were not the greatest choice. He was tossed from the game, so a bunch of changes come from that. Entering the game is now the outfielder Jake Vanderwall. He'll take right field. Because of it, Vasic will head over to left field. Because of it, Myers will head to third base, and because of that, Boone will head to shortstop. So now Dakota Phillips is ready to go in there. He's 0-1 here early in the count, taking a pitch on the inside half. The 0-1, he takes yet again. That one stays outside and evens the count at a ball and a strike. So again, a quick look around the Windy City defensive standing. It is Vasic in left, Richards in center, Vanderwall in right. Across the infield, Myers at third, Boone at short, Mercer at second, Garcia at first. Isaacson remains behind the plate. The 1-1 to Phillips. Hefty swing, comes up empty-handed, and he falls down in the count 1-2. This all comes after Bryn Martinez was tossed from the game after stating a couple extra words on a strikeout to end that 6th. The 1-2 to Phillips. He lets go a bit low, and the count evens up at 2-2. Also coming into pitch for the Thunderbolts, Neil Abatiello. The 2-2 goes outside, sends the count to full. That call to the bullpen is presented by Business Communication Solutions. Contact our friends BCS for all your business solution needs. On the mound, Abatiello sending home to Isaacson. That pitcher catch battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. Full count pitch to Phillips. He lifts it out towards center field, and it drops for a base hit. Finally, Dakota Phillips has got back on the hit train after 2 straight games without one. That's a really important one for the first baseman, Phillips. Single to center field, leads off this bottom half of the 6th inning, and now brings up the middle of the order, the third baseman, J.R. Davis. You know, it adds that question mark of what happened there after that strikeout from Martinez. He struck out swinging, yet was arguing the pitch afterwards. But regardless, it is what it is. He's now out of this game. A called strike one to J.R. Davis on the outside edge starts off this count. The fastball zoomed by him. The 0-1 after a wait from Abatiello. This one's lifted high and foul behind the seating area at Bosse Field. Runner on first is Dakota Phillips after the leadoff single. Other than that, bases are empty with no outs here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Pitch on the way on the 0-2. This one stays low for ball 1. Now that things have calmed down a little bit, we can give you a look at Abatiello out of the bullpen. Throws 3 pitches, pretty much just the fastball, changeup, and slider. He earned a win earlier this week. The 1-2 to Davis. He lifts it up towards right center field. Chasing after is the center fielder, Richards, who hauls it in for out number 1. But more about this pitcher, Abatiello. Got a win there on the 3rd against Schaumburg. Earned the win out of the bullpen. In his 2nd year here with the Bolts, he got that win pitching 1 point or just over 1 inning of work. giving up no runs on 1 hit, striking out 4. Time is taken before we're ready for the first pitch to Elijah Mcnamee. Looks like they're going to clean off the home plate umpire, or the home plate umpire is going to clean off home plate. So now Elijah Mcnamee ready to go. Had a double his last time up. First chance here in the dirt ball 1. Big hit Mac has not really been one for big hits this last week. Instead, it's been mostly quality defensive work for him. A lot of diving catches and acrobatic plays out and right. The 1-0 to Mcnamee, a hefty swing at a pitch high in the zone, and he comes up empty-handed. 1-1 the count now. Hoping to get things done at a good time today, as another round of storms looks like it could move in this evening. Looks like it could stay to the south of Evansville, but you never know. Otters will want to be hopefully done by that point and have things ready to go for tomorrow's game. 2-1 the count to Elijah Mcnamee. Hefty swing again. Mcnamee comes up empty-handed. Pitch that broke towards the low of the zone. Dakota Phillips over there on first with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. The 2-2 to Mcnamee. Another swing on a pitch that was way low and inside, and Mcnamee sits down with a strikeout. It's the first one of the game for Abatiello. So now with 2 outs and 1 on, Miles Gordon will have to try to be the hero again. He had the first RBI for the Otters. First pitch to Gordon. This one sent towards the right side, and it misplayed by the first baseman for a second, but he ends up misplaying it right to first base and stepping on it himself for the 3rd out of the inning. A leadoff single from Dakota Phillips. Nothing comes of it, however. And after 6 full innings, we are tied at 2 runs apiece. Really good one brewing here from Evansville. Pitching change needed for the Otters. Jake Polancic, the man out of the bullpen, will try to keep this low-scoring affair where it's at. Polancic appeared last in the final game of the Lake Erie series. It was a really rough outing for him. Could not record an out. In fact, he gave up 3 runs on 2 hits on a 3-run home run. Otters ended up winning that game anyway, however, but it was a tough situation for him. This call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. The pitcher catcher battery is Polancic on the mound. Felix behind the plate. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. Quick look at the final line score for Parker Brahms in this game. He gives up 2 runs on 3 hits, striking out 8 in 6 innings of work. He walked 4, and 3 of those were in the very first inning. So not too bad out of Brahms. Currently not in line for the win, however. The 1-0 for Vasic works outside, and it's quickly 2-0. The 2-0. Big swing on the high inside corner, and Blancic has earned his first strike of this appearance. Prior to that rough outing against Lake Erie, Blancic's been really good this year. Three won the counts after Blancic misses yet again. Another pitch is worked inside, and it's swung on for strike 2. Full count now to the 9-hole hitter, Nikola Vancic. Blancic. Quick pitch decision, and on his way home with the payoff pitch. This one's lifted really high in the foul area over by third. J.R. Davis loses it in the sun and just lets it fall down next to him. So it will remain a full count, and tell you what, Vasic might have just been bailed out. So again, 3-2 the count after J.R. Davis lost the ball up in the sun. Long wait for Blancic up there on the mound. Now here comes the full count pitch. That one sent right back into the netting, and looking to see another pitch is Vasic. Don't forget that these two squads conclude their series tomorrow with a doubleheader that starts at 5:30. You want to come join us here? One ticket gets you into both games. Be a great night here from historic Bosse Field as another ball is sent back into the netting. We're going to have our friends here from Working Distributors, Tri-State Food Bank, and WSTO Hot 96 for a Thirsty Thursday here at historic Bosse Field. Over 4,000 Otter fans packed in here last week on Thursday nights. Why not beat it this week? Gates open at 4:30 tomorrow, 5:30 first pitch. Come join us. The full counts. Once again, that one way outside, and the first man that Blancic sees gets a free pass to first. With that, we head back to the top of the order, where the center fielder, Jarius Richards, will walk up. He's 0 for 3 with a flyout, lineout, and strikeouts. Richards is entering this game batting 154. Keep an eye on Vasic out there at first. He stole a base earlier in the game. They're going to go check on him over there, and he's back in time. Even at a 2-2 game here in the top half of the 7th inning, Jake Blancic in out of the bullpen. Another quick throw over to first, but back in time is Vasic. Fun way to start this series. We knew it was going to be close all series long. Polancic graces one into the high outside corner for strike one. So 0-1 the count to Richards. In fact, in this at-bat, there's more throwovers the first than there are pitches yet. The 0-1 to Richards, and he lifts this one high and foul towards the third base side and out of play towards the parking lot. Mike O'Leary behind the plate in this game. Nicholas Saxon over there on the left side of the infield. Kevin Furman on the right side of the infield. This will be the crew all 3 games of this series. 0-2 the count to Jarius Richards. Polancic kicks and delivers. Just misses on the outside edge. And it's a 1-2 count. Sticking in there is the leadoff man, Jarius Richards. Now looking at a 1-2 count with a runner on first and no outs. Breaking towards second is Vancic and getting bailed out by a foul tip back towards the backstop. So the count remains at 1-2, and Vancic has to make the run all the way back to first. Vancic stands just 5'9" over there at first. Bit of a difference there next to Dakota Phillips, who's 6'3". The throwback over to first. Really close play there, as I think Vancic was going to run on that play and started leaning towards second, then was able to switch directions to get back to first in time. Three pitches home, 3 throws over to first. Here comes the 1-2. Sent out towards right field. That's going to be a long run for Miles Gordon. Extra bases here. It's a RBI double from the leadoff man, Jarius Richards, and the Thunderbolts have taken the lead. Polancic still unable to get an out in this game. Second straight outing that he has allowed runs before he's recorded hit outs. And the Otters now trail once again. So now the designated hitter, Dan Robinson, makes the walk up. He had a double back in the 5th inning. First pitch is high and outside on the fastball. Ball 1. Samson Abernathy has started to warm up for the Otters out there in right field. Here comes the 1-0. Hefty swing by Robinson. He comes up empty-handed. Count evens up at a ball and a strike. So standing on second is Jarius Richards after he brought home Vancic. One the count towards Dan Robinson. Pitch on the way from Polancic. Just misses on the inside edge. 2-1 the counts. And Polancic struggling to get some consistency there. The 2-1 again fouled back into the netting. So the count's at 2-2. Two to Dan Robinson. Polancic desperately needs an out. Here comes the 2-2. Works way inside, and Felix has to dive over to get to it in time. Oh, and actually they're saying that it hit the batter, Dan Robinson. So he'll head to first on the hit by pitch. So there's now runners on first and second with still no outs in the 7th inning. Otters have already given up 1 run. Got to think one more man gets on, Polancic's day might be over. What started off as a great pitching performance from Parker Brahms has started to go a bit downhill. Polancic still looking for his first outs of the inning. Both runners breaking, and it's a successful double steal as the pitch completely missed inside. Robinson gets to second, Richards gets to third. And there's no outs and runners on second and third. Life has gotten even harder for Jake Polancic. The 1-0 just barely catches the high outside corner. Otters just need a couple of consistent batters here for Jake Polancic to keep the game where it's at. Potentially 2 more runs, a base hit away. Big swing from Myers, comes up empty-handed, and he's down 1-2 in the count. Myers is hitless in this game, but at any time he can snag a base hit and completely change a game. Leads this team in hits, RBIs, batting average. So 1-2 the count to Daryl Myers. This would be a huge out for Jake Polancic to get. The 1-2, and it's a swinging strike 3 for a German American Bank strikeout. The first of the game for Jake Polancic. So with 1 down, 1 through, and 2 on, the 3-hole hitter first baseman Manny Garcia makes the walk up. He is currently the only batter for Windy City who has failed to reach base so far. First offering to Manny Garcia on the way from Polancic. That one's high and outside, ball 1. Fastball just got away from Polancic there. Runners on second and third for the Otters, with 1, or for the Thunderbolts. It's a swing for Manny Garcia that they say yes he did. Count evens up at a ball and a strike as Windy City is trying to add more runs to this game. 1 out. A 1-1 count to Manny Garcia with runners on second and third. 1 run's already scored for the Thunderbolts in this inning. Time is called behind home plate. Well, Richards is at third. Robinson's on second. They both advance to those 2 places on a double steal on the first pitch of this at-bat. The 1-1 stays low and outside. 2-1 now the count. And Felix is going to head out and have a quick discussion with Polancic. Now Looking at 2-1 count for Manny Garcia. Runners on second and third with 1 out for Windy City. On the way. Oh, that one works high and inside, and counting out a 3-1 in favor of Manny Garcia. Jake Polancic really struggling to stay consistent so far in his time in this game. The 3-1 sent foul back into the netting, and the count is full. Three balls, 2 strikes to Manny Garcia. An RBI chance for him, but Jake Polancic wants to take that option away. Here comes the 3-2. This one is sent foul into the netting yet again, and Garcia lives to see another pitch. Three balls, 2 strikes to Manny Garcia. A second edition of the full count pitch. And it swung on high and inside. Time is called. They thought maybe it was a foul ball, it sounds like now. Mike O'Leary was really quick to send the runners back. Yeah, it kind of looked like it was a swing and a miss that went off the glove of Felix, but instead I think it was a swing and a miss that went off the end of the bat. That's why it kicked so hard out there to the right side. So they're calling it a strike 3 and sending him back to the dugout. Confusing play there, but on the bright side, Polancic has picked up his second German American Bank strikeouts. Well, instead, there's now 2 outs as Jace Mercer heads to the plate. Mercer 0 for 1 with 2 walks so far in this game. First option to Mercer, and he sends it back into the net. So it's an 0-1. So 0-1 the count here. Towards Jace Mercer. Runners on second and third for Windy City, who have already taken the lead in this inning. Polancic trying to end the rest of that hopefulness, and another foul ball straight back into the netting, and Polancic potentially a strike away from getting himself out of this inning. Oh, 2 the count to Jace Mercer. Time is called. An important pitch here for Jake Polancic. Would be really important in the grand scheme of things. The 0-2 to Mercer. High and outside. Good work from Felix to make sure that one stayed in front of him. Pleased you're joining us here on a Wednesday afternoon for Otters baseball. Our apologies for our technical difficulties with our Flow Sports stream. We'll try to have that back up and ready for you tomorrow. But don't forget that you can always listen to every Otters game, audio only, for free here on the Otters Digital Network YouTube page. The 1-2 stays low, gets away from Felix for a second, but he's able to keep it in front of him before anything comes of it. Oh, 2-2, the count to Jace Mercer. With 2 outs in the inning and 2 on, Polancic really needs an out here. Here comes the 2-2. Swinging strike 3. Big strikeout for Jake Polancic. Only 1 run comes across. The Otters still trail by 1, however. And the Bats will try to come up and do something about it right after this here on the Otters Digital Network. Well, we've stretched here at historic Bosse Field, and we're ready for the bottom half of the 7th inning. Otters have given up the lead there as Jake Polancic came into the game and struggled right out of the gates of things. So having to try to back him up are going to be the 8-9-1 hitters of Felix, Armstrong, and Mattis to try to bring the Otters a little bit closer. That's where the offense started in the 5th inning for the Otters, as Armstrong was able to get on a drop third strike. That was following a couple of doubles earlier in the inning. Then a sacrifice bunt RBI from Mattis brought a run home. So we might see these 3 try to start the offense yet again. Might see Samson Abernathy head out to throw the 8th inning for the Otters, as he seemed like he was ready to go out there in the right field bullpen. Long waits for Felix to get himself to the plate. Now he's ready to go. So far in the game, Felix 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. First pitch on the way to him. Just catches the zone for a called strike 1. Remaining in the game for the Thunderbolts is still Neil Abatiello, who has been really good since he hopped into this. The 0-1 to Justin Felix. Hefty swing on a pitch that broke away from him. He ended up a bit behind that one. So 0-2 the count to Justin Felix, trying to avoid a leadoff strikeout here in the 7th. Pitch on the way. Works way high and outside. Looks like we do have an arm hop up out there in left field. I believe it's Justin Miller for the Thunderbolts. He's a 6'4", 220-pounder out of Fresno, California. Pitched for Low A Milwaukee last year. Another pitch outside, and the count's at 2-2 now. So Felix trying to work himself into a quality on base opportunity here. After starting the count 0-2, he's evened it up at 2-2. 2-2 to Felix. He lifts this one out towards center field, but it's right there for the center fielder Richards. He hardly had to move at all for out number 1. So that'll bring up the shortstop, Andy Armstrong, who's 0 for 2 in the game as well with a pair of strikeouts. But the second one was a drop third strike that allowed him to reach first. He reached second on the sac bunt from Gary Mattis, but was stranded out there at second. Crazy to see this little offense from the Otters. In their 6 games they played before this game, they outscored Lake Erie and Gateway by a combined 46-24. Pitch works high and outside, ball 1 to Armstrong. The 1-0. This one's sent towards right field, and it'll stay foul. Ends up in the Otters bullpen. One ball and 1 strike for Andy Armstrong. And that one will again stay outside. 2-1 the count to Andy Armstrong. The 2-1. Again, a big swing from Armstrong, except this time he comes up empty-handed and counts at 2-2. Otters really cannot afford to have the first 2 go down with outs and try to have to do stuff with 2 outs again. The 2-2 to Armstrong. Swinging strike 3, and it's the second strikeout of the game for Neil Abitiello. So back to the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Gary Mattis, who is officially 0 for 1, but he has a walk in the 3rd, then stole 2nd, then had a sacrifice bunt RBI in the 5th on the squeeze play. First pitch to him, works inside, and he sends a hefty hack at it, but he comes up empty-handed. 0-1 in the count, and that's part of the difficulty for a right-handed hitter when you've got a left-handed thrower sending him your way. 0-1 the count for Gary Mattis. 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. 0-1 works a bit too far inside near the feet, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. Defense playing pretty much straight up. The outfield maybe a bit slanted to the left. Here comes the 1-1. Way outside, and Mattis takes the lead in the count, 2-1. If Mattis can get on base, you know Zach Biermann will give him a chance to potentially steal second, and then Biermann has the power to bring a guy home. But first, Mattis has got to get himself on base. The 2-1. Mattis lifts it out towards left field. A little bit of a run for Vasic, and he hauls it in for out number 3. Another 3-up, 3-down inning for the Otters. And after 7 full, it's Windy City 3, Evansville 2. Top of the 8th inning, and another new arm comes in for the Otters. Samson Abernathy out of the bullpen. He's appeared twice in the last 5 games, once against Lake Erie, once against Gateway. Both were one-inning ventures against Lake Erie. No runs on two hits in his one full, except against Gateway he did struggle. Gave up 2 runs on 1 hit. It was a solo, or a 2-run home run, to right field. But at that time, the Otters already had such a lead, it didn't really end up mattering in the grand scheme of things. Abernathy can throw it hard, but sometimes the accuracy is what he struggles with. If he can throw accurately to start off his opportunity in the game, he is really hard to stop up there. It's called a bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. And the pitcher catcher battery is Abernathy on the mound. Felix behind the plate. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. So, leading off the inning will be the catcher, Peyton Isaacson. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI single in the first, a ground out, and a fly out following. Abernathy ready for his first pitch of this outing. On the way, big hefty hack from Isaacson. He comes up empty-handed for strike 1. That came across at 91.5 mile an hour. Abernathy has one sent right back out towards left center field. Baez at the wall, and as he crashes into the wall, he brings it in for out number 1. Good drive from Isaacson, but it ends up just a few feet short. And Abernathy can let out a big sigh of relief. So that'll bring up the third baseman, Jake Boone, who is actually now playing shortstop. Boone 1 for 3 with a solo home run in the 6th inning that traveled 395 feet to left field. First offering for him. Off speed just misses on the high side of the zone. Glad you're joining us here on the Otters Digital Network. You're home for the Otters at home and on the road. The 1-0 to Boone. This one's lifted up, foul to the right side. Phillips thinks he has it in foul territory, and he does. Holds his eyes afterwards after staring right up into the sun. But he's able to get out number 2. And again, the Otters Digital Network has every home and away game for you, audio only, here on our YouTube page. Or you can catch the games on Flow Sports. We apologize for those of you trying to do that today. Some technical difficulties have gotten in the way of the game today, and that's why we're available just here on the audio stream. We're hoping to have that ready to go for you tomorrow. Keep an eye on the Evansville Otters Twitter and Facebook page for updates about tomorrow's game and where you can listen. Jake Vanderwall with his first at-bat of the series. He subbed in for the tossed shortstop Bryn Martinez, and Vanderwall is actually out there in right field. Vanderwall on the way, and that one catches his own for a called strike 1. Count evens up at 1-1. So the count at 1-1. On the way, and that's a big swing from Vanderwall, but he was right over the top of that ball as it kind of broke underneath his bat. 1-2 counts here with 2 outs. Abernathy could quickly have a 1-2-3 inning. Long wait for Abernathy there on the mound. Now he's ready to go. The 1-2. Swinging strike 3, and Abernathy picks up a German-American Bank strikeout. to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down, and a big smile from Abernathy as he heads off the field. We head to the bottom half of the 8th inning here on the Otters Digital Network. Otters trail by 1. Coming up to bat, Biermann, Baez, and Phillips. Bottom of the 8th inning coming at you here on the Otters Digital Network, and Evansville finds himself down by a run after the solo home run there from Jake Boone in the 6th inning. That thing traveled 395 feet out to left field. Right now, that's the difference maker. But the Otters are right there in the heart of their lineup here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. They'll have Biermann, Baez, and Phillips due up. Combined, the three have just 1 hit on the game. That's Dakota Phillips' leadoff hit in the 6th. He was left on base. First option for Baez. He thinks about going around. Lets it be for ball 1. Baez got a hold of a fly out there in the 3rd inning. Sent it 327 feet to the right side. But, you know, at Gateway, it might be a home run. Here, it's pretty shallow fly ball in the really deep right field out there. 1-0 to Biermann. He lifts one up. It's going to stay in the infield area. First baseman Garcia thinks he's underneath it. Now it's the second baseman Mercer who has to go diving after it just about, and they're able to get the first out. Just about every batter or runner who has had the opportunity has kind of thrown some of those guys out up there. But it's 1 up, 1 down in the 8th inning. After the pop out, brings up the left fielder Jeffrey Baez, who continues to be on a tough streak. And first pitching change. We'll let you know who's coming in for Windy City after just one batter here in the 8th inning. Let you know who it is right after this on the Otters Digital Network. New pitcher on the mound for Windy City is Justin Miller. That call to the bullpen is presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Pitcher catcher battery is now Miller on the mound. Throwing home towards Isaacson. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by our friends at the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. Let them know that Evan the Otter sent you. So an interesting pitching change there is I liked what we saw from Neil Abatiello in this game thus far. He comes up and gets the first out in a lefty versus lefty matchup against Biermann, but they must want the righty versus righty against Jeffrey Baez. I thought for sure they would wait at least one more batter and bring in the righty to face Dakota Phillips, but instead we have a pitching change after just the first out, and who knows, Jeffrey Baez could maybe take advantage of a new guy here in the game. Baez is still looking for a hit that could really break open his season. First offering on the way. That one stays high and catches the edge of the zone for a called strike one. Came in just shy of 92 mile an hour. Out of the stretch is Miller. Broken bat, set on a line toward short. He just about falls over. Long throw in time. Second time that Baez has zoomed one to the left side of the infield, and they throw him out at first. Pretty sure that bat's broken. That's some more lumber for you. Go get your new lumber at our friends at Niehaus Lumber. Well, just like that, 2 up, 2 down. Otters down to their last out in the 8th inning. First baseman Dakota Phillips will have to be the man to do it. He got a base hit his last time up. It was his first base hit in 3 games. Prior to those 2 games without a hit, he had 12 games in a row with a hit, and then really hit a skid there in the end of the Gateway trip. Hoping to keep things going on the right path here. Unfortunately, Otters already have 2 outs in the inning. First pitch works inside on him and takes it for ball 1. Miller now reaching about 94 mile an hour. I'd bet that Abernathy stays in this game tonight if the Otters are unable to score. But if the Otters are able to score and then for sure take the lead, Logan Sawyer is standing up out there ready to go just in case he needs to start throwing. Sawyer, of course, the Frontier League's leader in saves with 6. 1-1 count towards Dakota Phillips. 2 outs, no one on. Otters trail by 1. If Phillips can find his way on, J.R. Davis stands on deck. Oh, beautiful breaking ball there. Just glides into that outside edge. And Phillips falls down in the count 1-2 now. More of the same here for the Otters. The exact plague that got him in Canada. 2 quick outs every single inning and having to do your work with 2 outs. Not a way to play baseball. 1-2 to Dakota Phillips with 2 outs. Ball stays really high. That's a pitch that he usually chases. So good work for him to lay it off and counts at 2-2 with 2 outs. Phillips was batting nearly 470 when the team came home from Canada. In the last 6 games, he's dropped down to 370 overall. Big pitch here, the 2-2. Just misses high outside. That's right in the wheelhouse of Phillips. Surprised he didn't try to take a hack at that one. Man, Miller has been really consistent between 92 and 95 mile an hour since he entered this game. Not really worried too much about his off speed, which he has used a couple times each at bat, but it's been mostly the fastball riding. Full count pitch, fouled back into the netting, and we'll have to wait another chance. Phillips would love an opportunity to get himself on base, but with 2 outs, Davis would really have to be smart there in the box. Full count pitch yet again. Phillips ready for it. Swinging strike 3 as he falls to a knee. It's 3 up, 3 down for the Otters yet again. And the last 9 Otters have been sat down in order. We head to the 9th inning here as the Otters still trail by 1 on the Otters Digital Network. Top of the ninth inning, and the Otters have one job, and that's keep Windy City at bay and make sure that if you're going to come back in this game, it only has to be one run. Samson Abernathy will remain on the mound. He had a pretty efficient eighth inning. Got a long foul out that was, took a little bit of deep breaths to get through, but then a foul out and a strikeout into that inning. He'll start off against the 9-hole hitter, Nikola Vasic. First pitch to Vasic just barely catches that outside edge for a called strike one. The 0-1 to Vasic, swinging strike two on a pitch that was nowhere near the zone. Big 0-2 here. On the way. Swinging strike three on the 0-2 pitch that broke out again. It's the second German American Bank strikeout of the game for Samson Abernathy. And it's the 13th as a team. So we head back to the top of the order where the center fielder Jarius Richards heads in there. Richards is 1 for 4, had an RBI double in the 7th inning. Right now, that RBI double is the go-ahead run, or the go-ahead RBI at least. One 0 the count after that pitch stayed up high. Abernathy waits for a second, then here comes the 1-0. Just misses on the inside edge. So the count heads further away from Abernathy. 2-0 now. Deep breath from Abernathy. You see the shoulders rise and fall. And now here comes the 2-0. Sent right back up the middle. Mattis with a long run over there. Brings it in, sends it to first in time for out number 2. So with 2 down and no one on, the designated hitter Dan Robinson heads to the plate. 1 for 2 with a double, a strikeout, a walk, and a hit by pitch. Robinson has done just about everything in this game. And he starts off this at bat with a called strike one that just fell into the zone. Here comes the 0-1. And again, Abernathy finds the zone on a pitch that just caught the outside edge. Or at least it looked like the umpire turned and called it. I guess not. 1-1 then. Pitch on the way. This one sent bouncing towards Armstrong at short. He throws over to first in time. And it's again a 3-up, 3-down inning for Abernathy. And we head to the bottom half of the ninth. Otters need to score 1 to keep this game going, 2 to walk it off. Don't miss it. We've got the conclusion of this one coming at you next on the Otters Digital Network. Time for the bottom of the ninth on the Otters Digital Network. Evansville needs 1 run to extend this game, 2 runs to win it, and they are right in the heart of their order to try and do it. J.R. Davis, Elijah Mcnamee, and Miles Gordon due up. In fact, 2 of the 3 Otters hits come from 2 of the next 3 coming up to the plate. They'll start off with J.R. Davis, who is 0 for 3 with a couple flyouts and a ground out so far in this game. Don't need a home run with this at bat. All you need is to get on base and give the guys behind you a chance to do something. Davis digs in, ready for the first pitch of this bottom of the ninth. On the way, just misses outside and maybe low. One ball, no strikes to J.R. Davis. That one again, well, looked like it was even further outside. That one's called strike 1, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. One and one to the third baseman, J.R. Davis. On the way, and a hefty swing from Davis drops him behind in the count 1-2. So here comes the 1-2 to J.R. Davis. Sent chopping towards the shortstop. There's going to be a close play at first. In time! J.R. Davis cannot believe it, and Andy McCauley's going to go have a talk. J.R. Davis really upset. Billy Isley does a good job to get in his way and to make sure he doesn't say anything he'll regret. Andy McCauley makes the long run across to argue it, however. Really close play, and man, did J.R. Davis run that out there at first. So close over there. McCauley is continuing out there to keep stating his case. And it looks like everyone stated what they wanted, and after all the excitement, it's still 1 down here in the bottom half of the ninth inning. And it'll bring up the right fielder, Elijah Mcnamee, with no one on. Big Hit Mac, as they coined him at Mississippi State, has kind of turned into Big Fly Mac. Just flying after balls out there in right field. Option for him here stays high for ball 1. Mcnamee had a leadoff double back there in the 5th inning. Then he came back. He came around to score on the very next at bat. Miles Gordon doubled him home. Pitch just catches the high outside corner. Mcnamee shakes his head, and the count's at 1-1. 1-1. The count to Elijah Mcnamee. He half swings. Did he go? No, he didn't. That's the first time so far in this game that umpire down there at first base has called one as a no, he did not go around. So 2-1, the count to Elijah Mcnamee, the right fielder. This would be a huge hit for him. Pitch stays up high, and he's ahead in the count 3-1. A walk works just as good as a base hit in this situation. Time called for a second. Now ready to go on the 3-1. Mcnamee lets it go by for ball 4, and he'll head down to first for free. He gives some claps towards his dugout over there at first. Joe Riley is starting to get loose for the Otters out there in right. He would surely be the 10th inning man for the Otters if the game got tied. Miles Gordon had a double in the 5th inning that scored Elijah Mcnamee. Then he came home to score on Gary Mattis' sac bunt. First pitch to Gordon, way inside, ball 1. Decent lead for Mcnamee over there at first. One ball, no strikes to Miles Gordon. Running towards second is Mcnamee. The throw out there. Did they get it down in time? Yes, they did. And Mcnamee is caught stealing. And just like that, the Otters are down to their last out. That was one of those situations where it would have been a great idea if it worked, and it's an awful idea if it didn't. Otters now have no one on with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th inning. All the hard work now from Mcnamee out the window. 1-1 for Gordon. Takes it for strike 2, and the Otters are down to the last strike. One ball, 2 strikes to Miles Gordon. The pitch on the way. Lifted up and foul down the left field line. And Gordon will live to see another pitch. One ball, 2 strikes to Miles Gordon. Here comes the 1-2. This one sent out towards right. Chasing it is Vanderwall at the wall. It's gone. This game is tied in the bottom of the 9th inning. Just when it looked like the Otters had nothing left, they've tied the game. And if there's not the stolen base attempt there, this game's over. But instead, the game is tied in the bottom of the 9th inning. Miles Gordon, the hottest hitter for the Otters all week, has done it again. So with 2 outs and now a tie game, Justin Felix heads to the plate. Unbelievable. We could see our first extra innings game of the year. Depending on what happens here with Felix. First pitch is low and away in the dirt for ball 1. You know, if it was a week ago, you would not be expecting Miles Gordon to hit you a home run in the bottom of the 9th. But with the way he's played against Lake Erie and Gateway, it's not a surprise at all. A successful check swing from Felix. Keeps it as ball 2, and he's ahead in the count 2-0. So here comes the 2-0 to Felix. He lifts this one high and foul over the seating area to the first base side. Count at 2-1 now. The Otters had hit home runs in 6 straight games before failing to hit one on Sunday against Gateway. They've kicked it right back off in their next one and have a home run. 2-1 to Felix. He half swings at one. He did not go. And the count's at 3-1. Felix gets on. Armstrong would be due up next for him. Felix digs back in, looking at a 3-1. Wouldn't be surprised to see him take a hack. Pitch on the way. That one stays high, and he's headed to first with a walk. It's a Deerhead Sidewalk Cafe and Bar, and with a runner at first, the shortstop Andy Armstrong makes his way to the plate. But first, a meeting on the mound for Windy City. They'll make a pitching change. We'll let you know who it is right after this on the Otters Digital Network. Bottom of the ninth inning here, and a pitching change needed for Windy City. They brought in Daniel Kite. That call the bullpen is presented by Business Communication Solutions. Contact BCS for all your business solution needs. Pitcher catcher battery. Kite on the mound, thrown home towards Isaacson. That pitcher catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road. Give them a call at 812-475-9000. Kite is a sidearm pitcher, kind of that submarine style. An interesting look that the Otters will have to face off against. Crazy how we've gotten to this point. Davis just barely got thrown out at first. Close play. Then Mcnamee walks. He tries to steal second. He's caught stealing, and suddenly Miles Gordon's the last out. He hits a solo home run over the wall in right field to tie the game at 3. And now Justin Felix has walked to first, causing a pitching change. It brings up the shortstop, Andy Armstrong. Just for what it's worth, Armstrong entering the game batting .254. He only has one extra base hit on the year. First offering for Andy Armstrong on the way. And he lines one out towards left. Chasing after is Vosic at the wall. Jumping grab into the wall. Can you believe it? The ninth inning has ended with an unreal grab in left field. And we're heading to our first extra innings game of the year. Can you believe it? Just feet short of a walk-off home run, and Vosic has forced a 10th inning. We'll have it for you next here on the Otters Digital Network. Top of the 10th inning coming at you here on the Otters Digital Network. Pitching change, first of all, for the Otters. They brought in Joe Riley. Joe Riley last appeared in the series against Gateway. He gave up no runs on 1 hit and 1 full inning of work. He also appeared in the first game against Gateway, striking out both of the 2 batters he saw. This call to bullpens presented by our friends at Business Communication Solutions. Contact your BCS for all your business solution needs. The pitcher-catcher battery is now Riley on the mound, thrown home to Felix. That pitcher-catcher battery is sponsored by the Answer Auto Repair East. Find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road, or give them a call at 812-475-9000. So to fill you in, if you are new like me to this league or just didn't know, in the 10th inning, they play international extra innings rule, which means there's a ghost runner placed on second. That's going to be Dan Robinson, as he was the last out for the Thunderbolts last inning. He'll be on second. Daryl Myers, the team's leader in RBIs, will head to the plate. Just plays in the favor for Windy City to have their best RBI man lead him off in the top of the 10th with a runner on second. Joe Riley takes to the mound. Long wait before the opening pitch of the 10th inning. First offering to Myers. Ooh, big swing, but it's chopped foul into the glove of Felix for strike 1. There's a reason that Myers was listed as our player to watch for Windy City. Batting .392 entering the series, leads the team in RBIs and hits. He's a left-handed hitter. Riley, of course, a right-handed pitcher up on the mound. The 0-1 towards Myers. This one is lifted high and foul to the left side. J.R. Davis chasing after it towards the wall, and Davis just lets it fall as he worried he was getting a little close to the fence, and he was. So it ends up just being a really long strike 2. So everyone has to make the long walk back to where they were to begin all of this. Score remains tied at 3 as we head to the 10th inning. Miles Gordon, the hero in the bottom of the 9th to extend this game. Runner on second is Dan Robinson, the ghost runner. The 0-2 for Daryl Myers. Headed home now. This one just misses on the high outside corner for ball 1. Myers is 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a fly out to right. One ball, 2 strikes. Long wait between pitches for Joe Riley, really taking his time up there. Time called yet again by Myers at the plate. You can really tell how much this game means to these two teams. I mean, there's a very good shot that if Evansville wins this game, they could be at the top of the West Division by the end of the night. And for Windy City, a win would mean that they would jump Evansville in the standings. The 1-2 to Myers. He lifts this one up towards left field. Baez takes a couple steps in, now a couple steps back, and makes the catch and sends it in towards third. So they got the important out there to start off the 10th inning. That's the one you had to worry about. But now the first baseman, Manny Garcia, makes the walk up. He's 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in this game. His other out was a deep fly out to left field. Joe Riley trying to keep the Bolts at bay and give his Otters bats a chance to win this game in the bottom of the 10th. The defense playing pretty much straight up, maybe a tad bit shifted left. Outfield definitely shifted left a little bit. Opening offering to Manny Garcia. Swinging strike one. Big cut there. I think he was a little behind it. Digging back in is Garcia, looking at an 0-1 count. 1 out and the runner's on second, obviously. And again, time is called behind, or there at the plate, this time by Garcia. No balls, 1 strike to Garcia. That one stays a bit outside, even to count at 1-1. Of course, if we make it past the 10th inning, it will be the first time the Otters have seen the new Frontier League sudden death rule. I'll explain it a lot more if we get to it, but basically the home team, Andy McCauley, will get to decide if he wants to be on offense or defense, and we'll only play 1/2 inning. But of course, I'll get more into it if we need it. The 1-1 to Garcia. This one sent right back up the middle at Riley. Riley to second. They tag out the lead runner. Big play by Gary Mattis, and more importantly, by Joe Riley to get the lead man. Huge heads-up play by the pitcher Joe Riley there. Score at 1-4 on the fielder's choice that allows Garcia to reach. Number 21, Chase Mercer. So just like that, 2 outs, and the second baseman, Jace Mercer, walks up. Now there's a forced play at both first and second. That play means so much more than you'd think. Mercer walked both of his first 2 opportunities this game, then grounded out to the second baseman and struck out in his prior 2. First offering of this at-bat just catches the inside edge for a called strike 1. Looks like we do have a new pitcher ready to come in for Windy City in the bottom half of the 10th. We'll get to know him in just a second. First, Joe Riley trying to keep the Bolts scoreless in the top half of the 10th. A glance over towards first, and here comes the 0-1. Breaking towards second, hard hit towards first. Phillips keeps it in front of him. They step on third. We're headed to the bottom of the 10th inning. Otters could win the game. We've got the conclusion of this one coming at you next on the Otters Digital Network. Don't go anywhere. Bottom of the 10th inning. Headed your way on the Otters Digital Network. Pitching change needed for the Thunderbolts. They'll bring in Lane Schnitz-Paxton. Schnitz-Paxton last appeared in the game on June 1st. That was all the way back against Schaumburg. He went 1 full inning and allowed no runs on no hits. Picked up a strikeout as well. His job is to keep the Otters from doing anything, because a run for the Otters means they've won the game. Of course, due to the international extra innings rule, the last runner or the last hitter that was available for the Otters will head to second base. That, of course, is Andy Armstrong, so he'll make his way out there to second base. And with that, Heading towards the plate will be the Edward Jones leadoff hitter of the game, Gary Mattis. No hits for him yet in this game, but he does have a walk in the third and a sacrifice bunt RBI in the fifth. Little squeeze play. So Armstrong at second. Mattis will get us started in the 10th inning. Otters just need one, and they could walk it off. First pitch. Bunting is Mattis. He's going to beat the throw to first. It's an infield base hit for Gary Mattis. You truly love to see it. He placed that perfect. It went sailing past Paxton up there on the mound. He went chasing behind it. And with no outs, there's runners on the corners for the Otters, with one of the most dangerous hitters in the entire Frontier League, Zach Biermann, making his way to the plate. His 6 home runs lead this team. He had 3 over the weekend at Gateway, had 3 RBIs in Sunday's game. Not many better up at the plate. Biermann ready for the first pitch of this at-bat. Quickly, they're going to go check on Mattis at first. Rightfully so. That is the Frontier League leader in stolen bases over there. I don't think you even have to worry about it. Even a double play wins the game. Again, they check on Mattis. Ooh, the high throw would have ended this game. Now that we've seen 2 throwovers, wouldn't be surprised to see Mattis break towards second. Yeah, they're not even going to hold Mattis on now. First options is Zach Biermann. There goes Mattis as expected. And the Frontier League's leader in stolen bases adds 1 more to the campaign. Second one of the day. And it's the 16th of the season for him. Well, this has gotten really dangerous if you're a Windy City Thunderbolt here. No outs and a dangerous hitter at the plate with runners on second and third. Ooh, Biermann just about put something behind that. Instead, he just fouls it back into the netting. Down 0-2 in the count. He'll be followed by Baez and Phillips. So 2 more big bats. Except right now, you don't really need a big bat. You just need someone to lay one down in the outfield. Huge gap there in left center, by the way. As the defense is played a little bit shifted to the right out there in the outfield. Playing way in the infield. 0-2 pitch to Zach Biermann. On the way. Works way too inside. The Otters trying to get some Otter faithful here at Bossy Field behind them here. Biermann's trying to be the hero in this. Bottom of the 10th inning here in game 1 between Windy City and Evansville. And we've got 2 more great games between these two coming at you tomorrow. More on that in a bit. The 1-2 from Paxton. Swinging strike 3 from Biermann, but he gets a piece of it, and it fouls through the legs of Isaacson, so Biermann will live to see another pitch. Mattis stands on second, Armstrong at third. Doesn't really matter. You just need one of them. You don't need Mattis to score from second. All you need is one. 1-2 the count to Zach Biermann. Paxton regains himself. Here comes the 1-2. Sent on a line down the right field line, but foul. Ends up in the bullpen of the Otters. So we're staying put at 1-2 for Zach Biermann. Played his college ball at Coastal Carolina for 2 years there. Now he's trying to be the hero in this one. The 1-2. He fouls to the other side. Biermann trying to be a defensive hitter here. Again, you don't really need too much. Even a walk is probably beneficial, but long way to go before that. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch to Biermann. Sent to the right side, through for a base hit. And the Otters are going to win this one in the bottom of the 10th inning off a Zach Biermann RBI single down to their last out. You can't count the Otters out. A solo home run from Miles Gordon ties the game. And in the 10th, it's one of the best hitters in the entire Frontier League that gives the Otters their first walk-off win of the year. And if things go right in the West Division tonight, they could be the first place in the West Division, Evansville Otters. We'll take a break, and on the other side, we've got post-game stats and reactions coming at you live from historic Bosse Field, where the Otters have won this one in the bottom of the 10th inning, 4-3. We'll be right back. And for the final time on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, a welcome into historic Bosse Field, where the Evansville Otters come from behind to win this one in absolutely unreal fashion. Just the way you want to see this series start. We knew this was going to be a good series, but we didn't expect this in this series. Let's kick it off with how this game started. Windy City really got on top of Parker Brahms early in this one. 3 of the first 5 batters walked. The bases were loaded for Peyton Isaacson. He brought home a runner with an RBI single there in the first. We stayed at a 1-0 advantage in favor of Windy City all the way to the 5th, when the Otters were able to score 2 runs, one on an RBI double from Miles Gordon, the next on an RBI sac bunt from Gary Mattis. But Windy City got their run right back in the 6th with a 395-foot home run from Jake Boone, tying the game at 2 apiece. They took the lead in the 7th on an RBI double from Jarius Richards. Then we stuck steady at that 3-2 advantage in favor of Windy City all the way into the bottom of the 9th inning. The Otters did a good job in the bottom of the 9th. Davis almost got himself on, but a bang-bang play ends up being him out, and it was followed then by a walk from Elijah Mcnamee. He tried to steal second, was caught on his way to second, and that's when it started looking dim for the Otters. But Miles Gordon takes a good approach to the plate with 2 outs and sends a solo home run over the right field wall, tying the game at 3 apiece. Nothing else happened in the bottom of the 9th inning. We had to go to the Otters' first extra innings game of the season. And in the top half of the 10th, really good work from Joe Riley. In fact, he even had a heads-up play on a bunt that came, or an accidental hit that came right back up at him. And he fired out to second for the important outs instead of going to first for the easy outs. And then in the bottom half of the 10th, with Armstrong starting on second, Mattis reached on an infield bunt single. He stole second, and then it was one of the best hitters in the Frontier League, and he is proving it just about every night. Zach Biermann with a RBI game-winning single to right field that brought in Armstrong and gave the Otters the win in this one. In their first extra innings game of the season, they win this one 4-3. And I mean, it's exactly what this Otters team needed going into the rest of this series. They needed a strong performance in this one. The win is going to go to Joe Riley out of the bullpen. The loss will go to Lane Schnitz-Paxton. Of course, no save available in this game either. It was a game that Windy City, I thought, controlled really well. They really made life hard for Parker Brahms to pitch around, because Brahms really had to attack the strike zone over and over and over. He couldn't get close to those edges, or else he was not getting calls his way, and he was walking a lot of batters. So for him to get through the middle innings the way he did proves a lot about the way that Brahms has pitched this year. He gets a no decision in this game, but I thought he was really good. 2 runs on 3 hits, striking out 8 in 6 innings of work. Really good work from Parker Brahms. A couple of the standouts for the Otters worth looking at. Of course, Miles Gordon goes 2 for 4 with an RBI double in the 5th and the solo home run in the 9th. He was the only one with a multi-hit game for the Otters, but no hit was bigger than Zach Biermann to the bottom of the 10th inning that gave the Otters the win in their first extra inning game of the year. With the win, the Otters have advanced out to 13 and 9, there we go, 13 and 9, which has them tied with Washington at the top of the West Division. If Washington loses tonight, then they will, at that point, be the sole leader of the Frontier League. If Schaumburg wins tonight, they will be tied with Evansville there at the top. This is an Evansville team that it looked pretty grim during that Canadian road trip. They lost 4 of the 6 games up there north of the border, and it looked like things couldn't get much worse for them. Well, they might not have been able to get much worse, but they did get better. They came back, swept Lake Erie, got 2 out of 3 against Gateway, and then pick up a really important win here as they start off the series against Windy City. Of course, because of last night's postponement, we'll have a doubleheader tomorrow here from historic Bosse Field. First game starts at 5:30. Gates open at 4:30. If you can't join us here in person at historic Bosse Field, join us on Flow Sports or here on the Otters Digital Network, and we'll have every pitch for you in that doubleheader, where the Otters will first try to get the series win and then potentially get a series sweep as they conclude this 3-game set with Windy City before welcoming Gateway to town later this week. I want to thank you for tuning in to the Otters Digital Network and apologize once more for the issues we had with our Flow Sports broadcast. We'll hope to have that ready to go for you tomorrow. For all of us here at the Evansville Otters, and for Bill McEwen, who was not able to join me this afternoon, I'm Matthew Will. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Otters Baseball here on the Otters Digital Network. I'll talk to you tomorrow as Windy City and Evansville concludes their 3-game sets. Have a good rest of your day.